Parshas Bei Shishi. Vayhi b'chatzi alayla, and it came to fast at midnight. Hashem hiko kol b'cher beretz Mitzrayim, and Hashem struck every firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim. Mipcher pari hayishav al kisei, from the firstborn of Pari sits on the throne. Ad b'cher Ashvi, until the captive who sits in the dungeon. V'chol b'cher behemoth, and every firstborn animal. Rashi says, "V'Hashem kol mokum shenemar v'Hashem hu beis dinei." Wherever it says in Hashem, v'Hashem means the Eibishter and his beis din. Shavav lashon teisevasu. The vav is an expression of addition. Kamei plain you play like so and so. Hika kol becher, struck every firstborn. Af shalom acheres v'hu b'Mitzrayim, even a firstborn of another nation who was in Mitzrayim. B'cher pari af pari b'chor haya. Pari was also her firstborn, but he remained from the firstborn. And concerning this, it says, for this reason I have allowed you to stand in order to show my strength in the Yamsuf. To the firstborn of the captive, they rejoiced at Israel's misfortune. Furthermore, and furthermore, so they would not say our Avodah brought us about this retribution. The firstborn of the slave woman was included, because the Teda counts from the most esteemed to the lowest, and the firstborn of the slave woman is more esteemed than the firstborn of the captive. Pari arose at night, he and all his servants. There was a great outcry in Mitzrayim. There was no house, and there was no dead. From his bed. Unlike the custom of kings, who will rise 3 hours after daybreak. He and then his servants. This teaches us that he went around to his servants' houses and woke them up. If there was a firstborn, he was dead. If there was no firstborn, the oldest household member was called the firstborn. As it says, I too shall make him a firstborn. Another explanation. Some Egyptian women were unfaithful to their husbands and bore children from bachelors. So they would have many firstborns. Sometimes one woman would have five firstborns. Each one of the firstborn from his father. So he called them for Moshe and Aaron at night. And he said, get up and go out from amongst my people. Both you and your children. And go worship the Hashem as you have spoken. Teaches us that Pari went around to the entrances, to the doors of the houses, cried out, where's Moshe staying? Where's Aaron staying? Like men. Everything is as you said and not as I said. Who and who are going is nullified. But your flocks and your cattle shall be left is nullified. Instead, also take your flocks and your cattle. What is the meaning of you two shall go? That all of this is nullified. Take your flocks and also your cattle that you have spoken. You shall bless also music. What does it, as you have spoken, mean? You too shall give sacrifices and free will offerings. Almost daven for me that I shall not die. I am a firstborn. So the Egyptians took hold of the people to quicken to send them out of the land, for they said, we're going to die. They said this is not accurate. When Moshe's decree said that all the firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. And here, the ordinary people also died. They said we're all going to die. So the people picked up the dough when it was not yet leavened. The leftovers bound in their garments. And where do they put that? On their shoulders. The Egyptians did not permit them to tarry long enough for it to leaven. The remaining matzah and bitter herbs. Although they took many animals with them, they carry the remaining matzah and mechabim hayu as a mitzvah to love this mitzvah. They saw also Kidvar Meisha, and the children of Israel did according to the Meisha. By Shalom Mitzrayim Kli Kesef Kli Zavus Malis, and they borrowed from the Egyptians silver objects, golden objects, and garments. Kidvar Meisha Shamalem Mitzrayim by Yishal Meisrael. And he said, let them borrow each man from his friends, the Malis, the garments, Af, Hein, Hayu, Shuvim, Lahem, and Akesem, and Azov. This means more to them than the silver and the gold. Amucha B'Pasuk Kashru. So whatever is mentioned later in the pasuk is more esteemed. Hashem gave the people favor in the eyes of the Egyptians. And they lent them, and they emptied on Mitzrayim. Even what the Yidden did not request, the Egyptians gave them. You say, let me one. They responded, take two and go. And they emptied out. The Yidden journeyed from Ramses to Sukkos. About 600,000 on foot for men besides the young children. Ramses was 120 mil apart. They arrived there instantly. I carry on eagle's wings. From 20 years old and older. And also the great mixed multitude went up with them. And flocks of cattle, very much livestock. So Rashi gave Rab Tarubis Umish a mixture of nations of Gadim, Gadim. They baked the dough that they had taken out of Egypt as unleavened cakes. Before it had not become chametz, he gored from Mitzrayim, for the Egyptians drove them out, and they cannot wait around, they couldn't tarry, and they had not made food for themselves. Rashi uves matzahs, charora shel matzah, cakes of matzahs. Batzer shleich mitzkrule matzah, dough that did not leaven is called matzah. For the trip, Maggid Shivkan Sheisol teaches us the praise of the Yidden. They didn't say, how will we go out in the desert without food? They had Emunah in the Eberster. I remember to you the loving kindness of your youth, the love of your neptails, your following me in the desert, in the land not sown. Now what was the reward afterwards? Hashem, Israel is holy to the Lord. And the people of the children of Israel that they dwelled in Mitzrayim was 430 years. So after the other dwellings in which they dwelled as foreigners in the land and islanders. 430 years. Bein HaKol Mishnah Yitzchak Ad Hashem Arba Mishahaya Lezer Al Avram Niskayim Kiger Yezeracham. 30 Shana Hayim Shnigzer Zeres Ben Absadim Ashnil Yitzchak. Yeshalim Reds, Mitzrayim Levada, Shadikos, Minabayim, and Imyakiv Hayo. Seva Hashir Kosnesam, Amram B'nai, Shmenim Shalmesha. Leitim Sam Klas. Al Korcha Haber Shanam, Mayot Likos, actually are the Mitzrayim. Rabbi Mishnes Amram, Nivlom Mishnes Kos. Rabbi Mishmenim Shalmesha, Nivlom Mishnes Amram. Harish Leitim Sa Arba Meis, the Bias Mitzrayim, was cocked to Lim Al Korcha. Shav Shah Yeshivas Nikro Gairis of Phil Bechever Shnemer, Asher Gor Shram Avram Yitzchak. Vaimeres Eretz Mugureim Asher Gor Uvel, the Figachat. So Lemer, he is Aracham, Mishahaya, Leizera, Shatimne, Taf Shanam Shlet Yitzchak, Timsim Biasan, Messiah, Tiosam Neshud, Vazachim Lazvarm, Shashinu, the Talmi Amelach. Okay, altogether, from the time that Yitzchak was born until now, we're 400 years. The time that Avram had seeds, had the children, the prophecy that your seed will be strangers was nullified, and there were another 30 years from the decree between the parts until Yitzchak was born. It is impossible, however, to say that they spent 400 years in Mitzrayim alone, because Kahas, the grandfather of Mesha, was one of those who came with Yaakov. Go on to figure all the years of his son Avram and Mesha, 80 years, you will not find it to be that many, and Kahas lived many of this years before he descended to Mitzrayim. And many of Avram's years are included in the years of Kahas, and many of Mesha's years are included in Avram's years. So you did not find 400 years continuing from the arrival of Mitzrayim. So you're forced to say that the other dwellings which the Abbas settled were also called journeys, and even the Cheber that said where Avram Yitzchak journeyed. And the Torah also states that the land of the journeys in which they journeyed. Therefore, you must say that the prophecy, your seed will be strangers, when Avram, had offspring, and only when you count 400 years from the time that Yitzchak was born, we will find 210 years from the entry into Mitzrayim. So one of the things that the Chachamim changed for Tam Emelech. Hashem came to pass at the end of 430 years, and it came to pass, and that every day that all the legions of Hashem went out of the land of Mitzrayim. So Rashi, Vayihi be'eshano, Vayihi be'eshano, Vayihi be'etzamayim. Magi Shekimin Shegia Kates will equal Amakim Kedafayim Tesvav Benisan Bol Maf Asher Setzel Avram Levasir Tesvav Nisan the Yitzchak with Tesvav Nisan Nixadu Zayas Ben Upsarm. Tells us that as soon as the end of this period arrived, Hashem did not keep them even for as long as the blink of an eye. On the 15th of Nisan, the angels came to Avram to tell him about the Psula. On the 15th of Nisan, Yitzchak was born, and on the 15th of Nisan, the decree of Ben Upsarm was decreed. Leil Shimudu Nuhu Hashem, it's a night of anticipation for Hashem. Lights from Eretz and strive to take them out of the land of Mitzrayim. Hu Alayla Hazeh, Hashem Shemurim L'Chovnei Yisrael. This night of Hashem is guarding all the children of Israel throughout the generations. Hashem was waiting and anticipating for him to come after Pasuk that Yitzim Eretz Mitzrayim, fulfill his promise to take them out of the land of Mitzrayim. Hu Alayla Hazeh, Hashem, Hu Alayla Shamar L'Avram. This is the night that Avram, Ba'alayla Hazeh, Ni Agil Espanecha. On the night I will redeem your children. From the time onwards, it's guarded from harmful spirits. Like he will not permit to this prayer. This is the statue of Carbon Pesach. No strange one may partake of his Rashi. This goes a puzzle. On the 14th day of Nisan, the section was told, Kol B'Nechar, the Sanakru Ma'isel over Shemashamaim was deeds have become estranged from the Eberster Echad Agil Echad Yisrael Meshul Mamashma, both a guy or a Yid was Gishmat Rahman al-Itzlan armament. Kol Evet Ish Miknas Kosef, and every man's slave purchased for his money, the Malta Mason you shall circumcise in it. Then he will be permitted to partake of it. So Rashi Malta Maisi Azechel Rabbi means his master Magish. The failure to perform the circumcision of one's sale prevents one from taking over the Carbon Pesach. Person's milas avodah does not mark of him from eating the Pesach. It's referred to the Abed. A sojourner or a hired man may not partake of his Rashi Zedgerteshim. So, that's already included in not circumcised. In Arabi mol, the Giveni mol it's referring to, it's an Arab or Giveni, which is circumcised, who is a ger or hired a Teshuvah Sachar. The bias echad yechol, it must be eaten in one house. Let's say simin bias, and a basar chutzah, you should not take any of the meat out of the house to the outside. That's only stish b'rubai. Should not break any of the bones of Rashi. Bias echad yechol, b'chabura achas, so one group. So yosam nimnin alo shtei chaburas v'yichalko, that it is counted upon, it may not become two groups and divided. Ata im b'chabura achas, elo b'chabayis echad k'mashmo. You say that it means only in one group. Perhaps it means nothing other than in the house, as its apparent meaning. And teaches us that if they start eating in the yard in the rain, they may not enter the house. That's what the Torah says on the houses on which you will eat. From here we learn that the one who eats the Korban Pesach, we learn that the one who eats the Korban Pesach may eat it in two places. Like say from the group. That's a Mr. Barubai. Haruilad's bone is edible. Kagan Shish love Kazai's buster. Had it as buster, you prefer etzem. The bears the Isra of breaking the bone. In the love schools buster in Bisham Shvirs etzem. There is neither an olive size amount or meat. Does not bear the Isra against breaking a bone. That's the entire community of Yisrael shall make as a Rashi lump and a merit the feature or Emir Bet sometimes celebrates always. Shinwa love Mishparis is Yachwa off piece of their skin. Why was it stated? Because it says considering the Korban Pesach, a lamb for each home, we might think that the same applies to the Korban Pesach of later generations. Therefore, Tam Limber Kolas being so, that's what they say. Therefore, the Torah says, the entire community of Israel shall make it. The great ger lives with you, Asa Pesach Hashem. He shall make the Korban Pesach Hashem, Himol Leikol Zachar. Now, should a guy live with you? Should a ger live with you? He shall make the Korban Pesach to Hashem. All his males shall be circumcised, and then he may approach to make it Ezra Haaretz, and he will be like the native of the land, and no uncircumcised male may partake of his Rashi. You would think that everyone who converts must make a Korban Pesach immediately. Just as the native makes the korban on the 14th of Nisan, so must a ger make it on the 14th of Nisan. Suppose one of his brothers died because of the circumcision, and his disqualification is not derived from should be one law for the native. Ager Hagor Basifto, and the stranger resides in your midst. Rashi Lashis Gerla Ezra Aflasharmitra Shabbatida comes to liken a ger to a native, also regarding other commandments of the Torah. Yasu called Bnei Yisrael, and all the children of Israel did. After Chumash was Moshe was Aaron, and as Hashem had commanded Moshe and Aaron, came also so they did. He beat to me and Mazen, it came to pass on the very day. Hashem took the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt with their legions.